On Thursday, the Nasdaq jumped 2.5%. The headline wrote itself, broad rebound. But the typical stock rose 0.1%, and barely half the stocks we track finished green. So did the market rebound, or did just the index? Monday answered. Let's decode it.
Every feed said the same thing: soaring indices, risk on, a broad rebound, but an index and the market are not the same number. An index is weighted by size, so a handful of giants can carry it. Breadth counts how many stocks actually rose. When those two disagree this much, the gap between them is the entire story. So, put the easy read next to the real one. The screen said 3 green indices, so the rebound went wide, but the internal said something else entirely. The median stock barely moved, only 52% of names rose, and a few chips did almost all the lifting. A 2.5% index day with a flat middle stock is not broadening. It is concentration, wearing a rally's clothes. Here's the gap in one frame. The 3 indices everyone quotes: Nasdaq up 2.5%, the Russell up 2%, the S&P up under 1%. Then the number almost no one quotes. The typical stock across 406 names rose 0.1%. That's the difference between a market that rose and an index that did. The index measured a few giant chip makers. It didn't measure the market. Now the cleanest test there is: count how many actually rose across the 400 plus stocks we track. A genuine broad advance lifts 2/3 of them, 65% and up. Thursday managed 52, 210 up, 193 down. On a 2.5% Nasdaq day, that's a coin flip. A move carried by a few heavyweights, not by buying everywhere. So why do the index and the market disagree? Size weighting. A size-weighted index gives the biggest companies the biggest vote. So when a few enormous chip makers have a violent day, they yank the whole gauge higher. Even as the company in the middle of the market goes nowhere, the index rose 2.5%, the typical stock rose 1/10, same day, 2 completely different stories. Now read the leaderboard. When a rebound is real, leadership is messy, banks, industrials, energy, and tech rise together. Thursday's was one theme: Marvel up 13, KLA up 10, Micron, Taiwan Semi, Qualcomm, all chips. The semis ETF closed up nearly 7%. Banks, energy, and defense, the names are real upswing lifts, all finished red. It didn't buy growth, it bought chips. So where did the rest of the buying go? Look at how many stocks rose in each sector. The broadest groups were real estate, 90%, and utilities, 80%. The ones that rise when oil and yields fall, but shallow. And the names of true upswing lifts sat at the bottom. Financials 43%, materials 24%, energy 19%. The broad part of the day was defensive. The cyclical part was for sale. Stack it up, and here's where the day lands. A sharp rebound is one of 4 regimes: real broadening, an AI-only bounce, a relief rally, or a holiday squeeze. Thursday is the middle 2 at once. Chips led, and crude down 11% lifted defensives. Of the 5 signals broadening needs, only 2 fired. A narrow rally isn't wrong, just fragile. So Monday came, and it answered. The legs missing on Thursday finally arrived. Banks up 2%, Caterpillar and Eaton up 3%, small caps green. But the index fell because the crowd's favorites were sold. Alphabet down 5%, Broadcom down 4%, ARM down more than 7%. Money didn't pour in. It rotated out of the crowded trade into what had lagged. And the one number that defines broadening went the wrong way. Thursday, 52% of stocks rose. Monday, only 45%. Real broadening means more names join in. Here, fewer did. Leadership changed hands. Participation didn't. That is the definition of a rotation, not a broadening. So, here's the market decode read, updated for Monday. The breadth mattered more than the index, and Monday, it narrowed instead of widening. A rotation reshuffles who leads. It doesn't widen who takes part. The tail sat underneath. On rebalance day, even a brand new index member fell 7%, so forced buying, not fresh demand. Thursday looked like demand. Monday looked like a crowd.
Monday rotated, it didn't broaden. The real test of whether the AI trade is demand or just a crowd comes next. Micron's earnings, Wednesday, and Nvidia. Follow Market Decode for that call, and one clear market story every day.